What's going on, guys? It's GBP baby. Welcome back to another video. I hope everybody's doing well, and let's get straight into things. So, first of all, let's find out what high impact news we have this week. I am looking forward to this week. The week after non-farm payroll tends to be very fun in terms of movement, volatility, and just opportunity in general. So, definitely going to be in this week. Let's take a look at we got PPI on Tuesday. That's fun. CPI on Wednesday. And then retail sales. So we've got high impact news pretty much all week, which is great. And yeah, I think we're going to see quite a lot. So in terms of what I'm expecting, hopefully you've watched last week's Tuesday video where I went through like a much macro idea of what I want to see happening. But this is the top of the fair value gap, which we're currently trading in, and I'm looking for price to fill that. So let's get that delineated. And I'll just put fair value gap high, weekly fair value, weekly FVG high. And I'll move that to the right, center. So I'm looking for price to fill this fair value gap in. So I'm happy to see price continue to trade up to that. And then once it gets to the top, then and only then am I looking for potential reversal, because there are a lot of swing lows and just outside liquidity in general that I do believe price is going to try and aim to get to. Excuse me. So that's what yeah, that's where my draw on liquidity is right now. So let's go to the daily and take a closer look. And you'll see that we've had quite a few updates, but you'll see we've got a nice bullish order block right here, which I need to draw our attention to. So if price manages to trade into that, then I'd expect a bullish reaction away from that. So I'll put daily bullish order block. And then we'll go to the four, and then also we got this daily high as well, which would then be used as a target for price. So let's mark that out as buy side liquidity. And then we also have a gap here. Oh, and a gap here. So ideally price doesn't need to drop too deep down into these gaps, but we do need to still pay attention to them nonetheless because, well, they're there. So we can't really ignore that. We might find that price wants to try and dip down into that. So let's get that marked out first as a volume imbalance because it lacks volume. And we do have this one as well, but this is obviously the most nearest, so that's the one I'm paying most attention to. Here's the 4 hour, and you'll see how that volume imbalance lines up nicely with the bullish order block. And again, I wouldn't be surprised if price wanted to create the low, maybe there, low of the week, and then price maybe turn around and trade higher into our buy side liquidity and try and reach that weekly fair value gap. So yeah, I'm looking for this to hold support though. So you can see that we have a lot of down close here. All these down close candles, I need to see it provide support for price so that it can trade on higher. I'm happy for the low to get created there. So maybe Monday, Tuesday, I want to see price start to try and fill this discount PD array. And then I'd want to see a reversal maybe midweek and start to see expansion to the upside, taking out that buy side liquidity and trading up to our weekly high target. Let's go to the 1 hour and take a closer look, and you'll see that this is a clear consolidation. So this is we can call this an original consolidation because, well, this is where the consolidation happened before this large expansion on the back of NFP. So it's not unusual or surprising for price to want to return to these. So we'll keep that in mind. And then we also have a fair value gap below here as well in the discount. Now with this all taken into account, let's drop down and take a closer look. And this low, I do believe, is engineered liquidity in that price will want to grab that low. And then, like I said, hopefully we can see some kind of reversal on the back of CPI or something. But yeah, I am paying very close attention to the way that price is moving currently, though. I do believe this low will get targeted on Monday or Tuesday. Um, and I don't really want to see price trade any higher than, let me see, where are we? We have a bearish order block on the 3 minute here. So if we draw this out, ideally price, I don't want to see price trade above that until we've taken out this low. I'm looking for this low to get targeted. Just because of how price displaced mainly, and the way that we're also respecting this 50% level off it. See how we tap that here? So I want to see that continued respect, which will encourage my bias of seeing this low get taken. So let me just, you know what I'm going to do? I'll take out, make that like that. And then we want to see our price is acting once we're in this discount. But obviously, it depends where the price opens, but ideally we create the low, and then we can look for expansion to the upside and this buy side to get targeted later in the week, and also our weekly fair value gap to get traded to. Now, if we were to trade through this, if we get through this bearish order block, even though it's on the 3 minute, if we manage to trade through it, then and only then would I expect us to try and reach that weekly fair value gap first, and then I'll target this later. However, just based off what I'm looking at, I think, or I'd like to think, that price will probably drop, and we'll probably find some consolidation below this low first, and then trade on higher at a later point. So yeah, that's everything on dollar pretty much. Not really much to say here, but obviously in tomorrow's video we'll be able to take a closer look at how price is delivered. This is just for my live stream. If you haven't watched that yet, I've done some back testing, and I will try to do that weekly. So if you missed this one, do try and join next week. I am gonna get rid of all this, and let's take a closer look at the weekly and see what we think for pound. Now, pound is moving crazy weak right now. Um, Similarly, I did say this last week, there's no PD arrays other than swing lows that I'm looking to get traded through on pound. So I will mark out this because these are relatively equal lows now. However, on the daily, I am looking for us to trade down into a fair value gap, which is just below that sell side liquidity. So it'll be nice to see if price can fill this in. If you were watching me last week, you'll know that I called out a fair value gap which got traded through beautifully. So I'm looking for this to get filled as we move into the new week. Any lower than that, and I will be a little bit, you know, suspectful as to where we're actually trading to, because although we have lows below here and south side liquidity, okay, yeah, never mind. We could be trading into this, sorry. So we've got this low to this high. So there are a few fair value gaps that price may want to try and reach for. It's just that if it does, then pound is significantly weak, but that's not an issue. But yeah, these gaps down here are something to consider, but ideally, I'd like to think that price doesn't get all the way down here, but it can, and we need to be wary of that. Let's go to the 4 hour, and obviously, if we're expecting dollar to make some kind of low earlier on, you know how saying I want to see price drop into this gap. That means that I'd expect GBP to be able to rally to some extent. Now, in terms of GBP, this bearish order block would be the extent I'd want it to go to. Any higher than that, I'd be a little bit concerned. In fact, first I want to see us trade into this fair value gap. It's very small, but it's an imbalance nonetheless. So let's get that marked out in there and there as a premium PD array. And then it's also kind of a breakout in terms of we've got high, we've got low, we've got high, high. So this last down close candle is a breaker. So I'd like to see if price can rally up into that. And then once it reaches that, I'll be looking for shorting opportunities with the expectation then to take out these lows I was talking about and then trade into our fair value gaps I was talking about here. And very unlikely down here. And I say very unlikely because of how far it is, but you really can't think too much these days. And you can see how price is almost engineering at these lows. So we've got relatively equal lows here, here, and it's going to continue to do so, which is why I want to see price rally. Because if I was the markets, I'd want to create the idea of support below here, offer reversal happening, rally, send price higher, take out what buy stops above here, because there's people going short here, and then it can accumulate that to then to turn around and reverse later, and then dive even deeper, which I do believe is going to happen. But nonetheless, this, you see how this low to this high, this is all on order block. So the very highest within that order block I'd want to trade would be the 50% level. And we can look at things like this. It'll be this level. But obviously we'll have to see our Monday trades. But these are just things to consider. Ideally, we don't fill in that whole range just because I want to see some of it left open. But let's just get that delineated nonetheless and see if price can get up there in the premium to then offer it us before trading on lower. But yeah, very interesting. How it's going to turn around, I'm not actually sure. But yeah, basically Monday I'm looking for higher prices and Tuesday I'm looking for higher prices. If we're going to be expanding lower later in, if we're going to have a down close week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we should be looking for higher prices. Um, Wednesday being the very most, and then I'll be looking for the other side of that Sunday opening price to get traded through. But we can again, we'll talk about it tomorrow once we've seen some movement. And then finally on Euro, same exact thing. I'm looking for this high to get targeted, try and fill this fair value gap here. We've got breaker, high, low, higher, high. So just this range right here. But let's go to the weekly. And in terms of where we're targeting Euro, again, we do have a fair value gap here. So this will be the low of the fair value gap. It's kind of similar to what we have going on with dollar, as in we can aim for this as a draw on liquidity. Very deep discount, but again, yeah, I'm looking for it. And then on the daily, we have a nice bearish order block right here. Now there is two candles. Technically this is a order block as well. Like we should be using both of them. So that is something to consider. Uh, got what I'm going to do. We have an inversion fair value gap right there. And then I'll be looking at this range. So if we look at the, there's not really much to go off here. We'll go to the 4 hour. We have a nice bearish order block right there. So again, I'm happy for price to rally up into that bearish order block, but I'm looking for continuation to the downside overall. So again, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm looking for price to be rallying up into this bearish order block. We also have a slight fair value gap similar to what we saw on dollar, or was it pound? Right here to trade into. So there is an imbalance up here. There is a reason price may want to trade up into here. Let's get that marked out and then I'll make this a different color. So that's the highest I want to see price trade. That's where I want to see price fill. And then I'd expect us to be able to go short from these levels to then send us where? Down into our discount and to continue on lower. Let's go to the 1 hour. Again, not the cleanest of price action, but I'd like to see it have. I'd like to see some high resistance movement up into this premium. And then again, what is this? Consolidation. Original consolidation, nothing new. High, low, high, high displacement. So this last down close candle would be a breaker. So there's reason for price to want to go up there, and I'm actively looking for that, and for price trade up into that premium. And then I want to see us turn. So that's going to be everything, guys. I hope that all makes sense. Weeks like these, it's best to let the month. Well, no, I say that the Monday tends to have a lot of movement. So Monday is usually good to trade this week based off what ICT said. Hopefully it is. I will be paying close attention, and if I get in any trades, I'll make sure to go through it with you guys tomorrow. But yeah, we'll do a much more in-depth analysis tomorrow because we'll have an idea of what's going on. But generally speaking, I want to see down close on euro. I want to see down close on GBP, and I want to see dollar. I do want to see dollar close higher, um, and ideally fill that weekly fair value gap so we can start thinking about, that quarterly turn or shift that we can potentially anticipate. So that's going to be everything, guys. Another thing to take note of before I close this video out is this bullish order block similar to what we saw on dollar. If we drag that through, again, we're kind of just within that right now, but I'd like to think that price can leave this range, and that will give us reason as to why we need to see premiums on Euro USD. But yeah, that's going to be everything. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to drop a like, drop a comment, join the mailing list, join the Discord as well. Anyone, I keep forgetting, make sure to join the Discord. Come and talk in there. There's 400 people and no one chats in there. So definitely come join. And yeah, I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Peace.